Duology Theater was made possible by producer Nolan Matten. Thank you, Nolan. It was also made possible by contributions from listeners like you. What a Duology Theater.
Duology.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Duology Theater.
It is another episode of Duology Theater.
I'm one of your hosts, David Bell.
I am a second one of your hosts, Tom Ryman.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Is that part of it?
I don't know. I had a legit cough, and then I tried to I didn't want to just scream cough into the microphone, so I let it out in little bursts, and then that ended up stretching it out. I think people if you had to fart in public, and you're like, okay, I'll try to
get it out. Just get it out. Just
get it out is really the answer always. Tom, what month is it? It's May.
It's the month of May.
Yeah, it's the month of May, and we've been doing, if people don't know, this is a series where every month we watch a duology of films. Not one, not three. There has to be two. A movie and its sequel, and nothing else after that.
Nope.
And this month, we did Young Guns.
We did?
Yeah, a film neither of us had seen.
No.
It is the original had Emilio Estevez as Billy the Kid, and then Kiefer was there.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah, and
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Dermot Mulroney.
Yeah, he sure was
in a really incredible role.
And amazingly, that movie had a sequel.
Yes,
called Young Guns 2. And if you remember, Tom, we were very incredulous
as
about
to
that.
Right, yeah, because the first one ends pretty emphatically.
Yes.
And then let's do it again. And I don't know if that's such a good idea. And after watching Young Guns 2, I can confirm that was not such a good idea.
Okay. I'm gonna push back a little bit.
Really? Okay.
I'm gonna say they did better than I thought they were gonna do, because this is also based on a true story. It's the story of Brushy Bill Roberts.
Yes.
Who is a man in the 50s who claimed to be Billy the Kid.
Yes.
And so in terms of us being like, how the hell are they going to do this? I didn't realize there was actually a very clear opening.
Yeah. Yes. This is a very famous case of this Brushy Bill Roberts guy. Yeah, I'll give them credit. They did a better job than I would have expected.
Yes. Is it as good as Young Guns 1? Tom, what are your thoughts on that?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with a no. I did enjoy it more than I thought I would.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I thought I was disappointed. I mean, okay. I mentioned in the last episode that there is a character who historically lives but decided to get killed off in this movie because he didn't care to be in it.
Right, and but he's in it a lot.
He sort of is. You'll notice he kind of doesn't, he shows up, but then he'll, sort of peace out for a while, and we won't see him for a minute.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They just sort of stretched it out.
Yeah. That's, of course, Kiefer Sutherland.
Yep.
He didn't want to be in this movie for whatever reason, or it was a scheduling conflict, but for whatever reason, the film originally had him live and go to Mexico with his wife, which is what actually happened to the real life character of Doc. But he gets killed instead, kind of unceremoniously. He dies and we don't really mention him again.
Well, he does do the hero's death where then he jumps out.
He does.
And so does, spoilers, Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yes, and
we lose Lou.
I didn't know about this one, but his character also does not die in
That's
history.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Both he and Doc go to Mexico.
Yeah. We also got a grizzled Alan Ruck.
We did, and I never knew I needed grizzled Alan Ruck.
Yeah. It was very surprising, and I was like, yeah, okay. All right, Cameron. There's just so many
Cameron Fry.
Yeah, there's so many actors of this time in this. They're like, fuck it, let's get Alan Ruck in there. Do we got Christian Slater? Yeah, we got Christian Slater. Can we make him real racist?
Christian Slater.
Yeah, we can.
Can we make him a fucking scumbag racist? Yes, we sure can.
Racist Slater. Hey, let's stick a Viggo Mortensen in there just for good luck.
Why not? Why not stick Viggo Mortensen in there?
He's barely in it. I don't think he was Viggo, really.
No, he was. And this was in 1990, so it would have been filmed in 89. Viggo wasn't anybody yet.
Yeah. And then we got a little dash of James Coburn on there.
Just a little sprinkle of James Coburn.
Sprinkle. That was delightful.
Just a drizzle of old James Coburn.
Yeah, all in a Bradley Whitford sandwich.
Yeah.
I was wondering how they were gonna, because I knew he was in this, and I was like, he doesn't feel like a Western guy. And then they make him like a lawyer in the 50s. I was like, that checks out.
Yeah, that checks out.
That's perfect. Yeah,
I see.
This movie is bookended. I like the opening, because the opening is an old cowboy on the range, and he's riding his horse, and then suddenly a truck zooms by, and you realize, oh shit, it's modernish. And then Bradley Whitford drives up in a car because the cowboy apparently wanted to meet him in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has to stand in the desert and listen to this old guy's story, which honestly I wouldn't do. I'd be like, look, buddy, we can sit in the car with the AC on maybe, but I'm not going to sit here like an asshole on this sand. So the old man explains, I was Billy the Kid. This is my story. And that's what we see. They address it head on. I thought they were going to just like pretend like the ending of the other film didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
But it's specifically about Billy the Kid getting shot.
Yes. It's the events leading up to when Billy the Kid was killed by Pat Garrett.
Right.
Or maybe not. This movie supposes.
Right. It's look, if you're going to make a sequel to Young Guns, how else do you do it? You find some wacko who is like, I'm Billy the Kid, and they're like, all right, let's listen to what he has to say. I think what kind of disappointed me about this film, that there was no way to fix, is that what I thought was very intriguing about Young Guns is the arc of Billy the Kid, is the realization of like, oh, he's not the hero. He's kind of a terrible person, and he's ruthless, and he has that like Joker laugh. It made me realize Emilio Estevez in another time could have played like a Joker like villain, or even the Joker.
He could have,
yeah, and like he's killing it in both of these movies, I think.
Yeah, he's being a real maniac, a real son of a bitch.
His I murdered a person laugh, what makes it good is that it feels a little sad, the laugh.
Yeah, like it feels a little pained. It's like a little forced.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like someone who's just pretending that he likes this. Mm-hmm. At least a little bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the first movie had that arc, and it had like, oh, I didn't realize this is what the conflict was going to be, is like dealing with Billy the Kid more than anything else.
Yeah.
And then in this movie, he's just kind of just the hero.
He still does the same shitty things.
Yes, he does. And there is still conflict over that. Kiefer Sutherland is... Like, it did actually make sense to me that his character wouldn't want to be in the movie. Because when we see him, he's teaching children.
That was a big... And I get that he didn't really want to be in it, so they had to rewrite it to accommodate him. But that was a big bummer for me, because I liked his character in the first movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's just like kind of not in this movie, and then he just dies.
Yeah, and I did feel like there was more. It should have been more tragic, because he spends the whole film talking about how he wants to get back to his family, and then he gets fucking killed. And the ending feels very unceremonious. It feels very, because he dies in one shootout, and then they like go to this town, and then Lou Diamond Phillips is like, by the way, I've been shot.
Yeah, incidentally, I'm dying.
Yeah, I'm gonna go walk off and die like a cat. And then he just kind of fucks off, and then Emilio is confronted by his pal. What's his name?
Pat Garrett.
Pat Garrett. Thank you.
Yeah, it's William Peterson. CSI's William Peterson.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him. I don't watch the CSI.
Did you watch Manhunter? The
show.
The Michael Mann adaptation of Red Dragon.
Oh, you know what? I haven't, and that's kind of one of the worst things about me.
It is. I legitimately just lost a lot of respect for you.
Yeah, I need to watch. I heard everybody did a great job in that. It's Brian Cox, right?
Yeah, Brian Cox plays Hannibal, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds delightful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to watch that.
Anyways, he plays Will Graham in it.
I'm going to change my life, Tom.
Yeah, alter your life and watch Michael Mann's Manhunter.
I will.
Michael Manhunter.
Michael Manhunter. It's, I guess, what it should have been called instead, for no good reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, Billy the Kid is not shot off screen.
Mm-hmm. It's unclear what's happened.
Yeah, and then that's sort of it, and then it goes back to Bradley Whitford, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like him just finishing the story. I was looking into this, and like it is to be determined. Like they don't know.
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing. Some old guy was just like, I'm Billy the Kid, and they did find like a shitload of scars and bullet wounds on his body. So
yeah,
maybe?
and he had like some still living people who were friends and acquaintances of Billy the Kid was like, yeah, I think this is him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the historical accuracy of this movie is not as outlandish as I thought it was going to be. What's interesting to me is that they could have told this story without that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were wondering, like, how are they going to tell this story? Because he died, and they're actually just telling the story of his death. So he could have just died in that scene.
He could have, yeah.
But they wanted to go with this, and like, yeah, I guess it does. This guy, I mean, I haven't read up. There's like so many books on this, and I haven't read one of them, not one. So I'm guessing there's, I'm very ignorant about this, but it does seem like there's a lot of people talking back and forth about whether or not Billy the Kid lived. That's interesting. People want to dig up his body.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! You guys hear that siren?
Oh hell yeah, I did. They're coming to dig up Billy the Kid.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Just for the bones.
Yeah, you might as well. Just get those bones.
Get those good.
Get those sweet
bones.
Billy the Kid bones.
Yeah. But yeah, all of what I'm saying are things I liked about it. What the problem was like. What would you say? What didn't you enjoy about this movie?
There's not much to the story.
That was going to be my big thing.
It's pretty thin.
Yeah,
and they just kind of draw out a lot of things. It feels like, and like you already were sort of beginning to mention, the climax is sort of underwhelming.
Right.
It's this very brief shootout at a tiny cottage, and then a protracted scene in which Billy's wandering around a festival at night, goes into a butcher shop, and has a tense confrontation with Pat Garrett, and maybe gets killed.
Right.
So we're the first. I mean, it's this like the first one was this like action adventure cowboy movie that ends in this massive shootout with like Gatling guns and the fucking army.
This feels like an epilogue.
It does, yeah. It doesn't feel like a full sequel. Like it doesn't feel as big as the first movie.
Yeah. There was one scene I really enjoyed. It was at what happens. All right, the like inciting incident is Kiefer and Lou Diamond Phillips both got by the law, by Lincoln County.
Yeah, they both get arrested.
Yeah, and they get put in a very stylish hole.
Yep.
And they're going to be hung in the morning. And then they call Billy the Kid, and they're like, we want to have a truce with you if you like testify against the bad guy from the first film against his men. We'll give you a full pardon, but you have to leave. And then they bring him in, and then you find out they betrayed him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets away, and then he breaks out Lou Diamond Phillips and Kiefer Sutherland, and then they're on the run, and they recruit his friend to hunt him down as sheriff with Viggo Mortensen, and that's pretty much it. And then they get in like one gunfight, and then the ending. There's a brothel.
Yeah, the brothel. That's part of.
I like the brothel. Right?
I like the brothel scene, but it just felt like it kind of wound up not mattering. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh, here's another incidental mob that's after them. There's a lot of not mattering in the characters. The scene I was going to say that I really liked is when they rescue Kiefer and Lou Diamond Phillips dressed as a lynch mob. Yeah.
And the law is waiting for the lynch mob to show up because they just know they will. And they want the lynch mob to show up and kill them, which I never got because aren't they going to kill him the next day? This was something that was in Deadwood as well, where it's like the people want to hang this person and Seth Bullock is like, no, I'm hanging him. I'll hang him right now. Fuck it. That's like the first episode. Because it's not legal unless he does it. Yeah. I don't understand the lynch mob. Like I don't know, maybe I'm lazy, but like if I wanted them dead and there's a bunch of people who are like, yeah, we're killing them tomorrow, I'd be like, okay.
Well, they weren't necessarily here because that's the whole reason. That's the whole pretense of getting Billy the Kid to testify because it's like,
right?
There's going to be a trial.
Yeah, they're scared that they're gonna.
Yeah, we don't want the trial. We just want to hang them.
Right. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's the opposite of fair, but
it's not fair. But
point is, the lynch mob shows up and they're like, they go to grab him, and then it turns out to just be Billy the Kid and his gang, and then the real lynch mob shows up, which I really like that idea that they were just like, what if we just slip in before the lynch mob and pretend to be, and then they just like willfully give us our men.
Yeah.
It was a good bluff. I liked that. And then he started like confusing because he looks like the other members, so he
kept putting his mask. They were all wearing
he kept
sheet
putting
hoods,
the mask back
so he kept
on.
putting his mask back on.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the one prisoner that almost shoots the sheriff and then gets shot in the chest and falls backward into the pit? That's totally John Bon Jovi. Yep.
I was looking at the IMDb of this, and he is credited in it, and I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah,
because he does the music.
Yeah, he wrote songs for the film.
Yeah, which you don't really notice. I didn't notice until the credits rolled. Excuse me. Oh, I got it. I have it, Tom.
Good. I'm glad.
No, the moment his voice piped up.
Yeah,
singing about God knows what.
Singing about singing about being a cowboy.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In an Oscar-nominated song.
Yeah. Good for him. It's a good song. I like the song. It's weird to have him be like, yes, I will pour my heart into Young Guns 2.
Well, apparently I was reading what happened was Emilio Estevez came to him because he wanted to use Wanted Dead or Alive in the movie.
Right, that sounds... I'm surprised it wasn't in the movie.
Bon Jovi, apparently, this is what it says, is he felt the song's lyrics were not appropriate, but he was really into the movie, so he decided to write a new song that would be appropriate with its lyrics.
Are those lyrics not appropriate?
Because I guess he's not really singing about being a cowboy. He's just using a lot of metaphors. So, like, the song he wrote for Young Guns 2 was literally about being a cowboy.
All right, you got to respect that. I mean, that's great. That's like, hey, Bon Jovi, can we use the song? And he's like, no, but I'll make you a song. And it's like, oh, shit. It's like the ending of The Sandlot. Where he's like, here's a better ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, fuck yeah. I'll have Bon Jovi write a fucking song about my movie.
Hell yeah. Can I have a cowboy song, Mr. Bon Jovi?
Yeah, Bon Jovi, if you're listening. Can we get cowboy songs written about us?
Cowboy songs?
I feel like we have a shot, right?
I think we do.
Yeah. This director... Oh, no.
I don't think he's done much.
Well, he's got an interesting career. He's a second unit director a lot. He did direct... it looks like he directed Free Jack, Under Siege 2. But he was also the second unit director on Dante's Peak and all the Lord of the Rings, which is kind of cool.
Is interesting.
Oh, well, he lives in New Zealand, so that checks out.
Oh, that's probably why, yeah.
But
I
also
wonder if they
Triple
filmed
X
this in
State
New
of the
Zealand.
Union.
Oh,
Triple
nice.
X State of the Union. So what a career. I don't know. I'm looking at it, and I don't see where they filmed it. I'm guessing it looked very California.
It did, yeah, so probably.
Yeah, okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. And it's kind of going into Kiefer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, thin. Like
it's very thin, yeah. It's just there's not much to it.
It's one of the movies that I would have added 20 more minutes to. For example, the kid, like this 14-year-old, he didn't feel like when he gets shot, I didn't feel like I cared.
Right, because we hadn't gotten much with him.
He doesn't talk much.
No,
he
he's
was
just sort
like
of kind of
stealing bread.
hovering in the background, yeah.
Yeah, he was being like a little Aladdin kid, and then he gets recruited by Billy the Kid, mainly because he just doesn't have enough people.
That's the only reason he gets recruited by Billy the Kid.
And then they go to the brothel, and he gets laid, and that was like, good for you.
Yeah.
And then he gets murdered.
And then I was like, well, at least he got laid first.
Yeah. Good on him.
Yeah, good for him. Nice job, child.
Yeah, and I did like that dynamic of after they shot him, the guy clearly feels bad, but then Viggo Mortensen is just like, he says like, take your medicine.
He says, take your medicine, son. Yeah.
Which is a great thing to hear Viggo Mortensen say.
Yeah, as the last thing you hear before you die is Viggo Mortensen telling you to take your medicine.
Yeah. I think a lot of this movie, again, I feel like I need 20 more minutes because I think the point of this movie is that there's characters who are ruthless. They're sociopaths. They don't have remorse. And this was a great moment when fucking Billy the Kid, the sheriff comes in to talk to Billy the Kid, and there's this weird civility aspect that some people have like that. Mm-hmm. And then Billy the Kid basically at gunpoint it's a deputy. He dresses him up like one of them, says he's coming out shooting, and then shoves the guy outside so his own posse shoots him, which I thought was great. And then they're like, oh shit, and just leave.
And they just leave, yeah. Shot their own deputy.
But that is like undeniably a ruthless thing. And with Viggo Mortensen, he's also ruthless. Mm-hmm. And like there's this whole subplot, if you remember, and I know it's meant to set up why the book exists, but where the sheriff, the guy after Billy the Kid, brings a writer with him, a journalist, and the journalist is kind of like he has to shit 5 times a day for some reason, which I don't know. You might want to check into that. He might want to go to someone.
They say he's a drunk, so.
Oh,
he's just got the drunk shits all day long.
He's got the drunk shits. That's fair. Mm-hmm. But they like bring him along, and Viggo's like, "Why are we doing this? He's a weak link." And he is until he speaks Navajo briefly. But for the most part, that character just disappears.
Yes, yeah.
And I think the point of that character and the sheriff bringing is to show that the sheriff is, I don't know, one, he's trying to make a name for himself, but two, it kind of shows he has like compassion for the guy that he brings. And I think the idea is that he's Billy the Kid's friend, and like, or he was his friend, and I don't remember him in Young Guns.
He's briefly in it, but he's played by somebody else.
Okay. And in his eyes, it's just, this has to stop. The violence has to stop. And I think there's a few characters like that who can't stomach it. Yeah,
the movie is, I see what you're saying, and if it had been longer, we would have had more time to spend with these characters, but there's characters on both sides, in Pat Garrett's posse and in Billy the Kid's posse, that are just trapped there. They're like trapped by a sociopath.
Right, exactly. I was... And that's, I feel like that's because, Kiefer Sutherland's the same way. He just wants to live a civilized life. And I think that the idea is that he's hunting Billy because he's just like, it has to stop. And then the implication is when
he also doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. And when it came time for him to shoot him, it was just like, no, I can't. The violence has to stop. Like, I have to show him mercy. And like that scene where Billy the Kid like turns around, and he's like, I'll help you. Is Billy the Kid kind of learning that he's lost everything, and it feels like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right?
Right, because he kind of begs at first. He's like, you could let me go. I could go to Mexico. And he looks like scared.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll go to Mexico. I will. I won't come back. And he's like, no, you'll come back. You'll just come back he says something like, you'll pop back up in Arizona stealing cattle, and then you'll start shooting people all over again. Right.
And it's that idea of like, oh, better just shoot people. You better just shoot somebody. And that's what you see a lot of them, just like just killing people who probably would just leave them alone. But it's like, better just kill them. It's easier that way. We've all played Red Dead. You just kill them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you can get the money or whatever.
And then you drag them from your horse for miles.
Yes, and then you drag them from your horse for miles. You put them on a train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You have fun with it. But yeah, so I think that's the ultimate, like, he should kill him because he's caused so much death, but he just can't. And for that reason, it's kind of weird that we don't focus on that character more. He's just sort of a villain.
Kinda, yeah.
So they do give him scenes. Like, the whole thing is, he just wants to open a restaurant. He's one of those people. He's like Kiefer Sutherland, where he's like, he just wants to be left alone.
Yeah,
and then
the James Coburn and the governor and everyone sort of force him to become sheriff because, like, you used to know Billy, so you're going to hunt him down.
Right. It reminds me, because we were talking about the first movie, the idea that these are, they're young. It's right in the name.
It's right there in the title. They're young guns.
Yeah, and they get this life of violence really early in their life, and they're full of the weird post puberty energy in their 20s, or even like I think that's what the 14-year-old represents too, is like the cycle continuing again. And it's people like Billy, is he's just so pot committed, it seems, that he can't get out of it. And we're seeing these people kind of enter their adulthood and realizing, like, this is no way to live, and trying to find a way out. It's a really interesting aspect to this that doesn't really come out in the movie enough, at least.
No, they spend a lot of time on stuff that winds up not mattering, and then I don't know. It's all kind of, you have Lou Diamond Phillips, who's like, he feels like his life is over almost. Mm-hmm. So he, on the other hand, he's not looking to start a life. Like, he feels very lost in this. I would have liked more checking in with his character. All they gave him is just that him and Christian Slater fought, which was kind of neat. That was pretty sweet, yeah. And
watch Lou Diamond Phillips.
And apparently that happened because Lou Diamond Phillips fell off of a horse during filming and broke his arm and his knee.
Oh, shit.
So they came up with that scene. They came at least with him getting stabbed all the way through the arm as a reason to wrap his arm up.
Oh, okay. I like how he does not react to getting stabbed through the arm.
Sure doesn't.
It's one of those things.
His arm is fully impaled.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I figured that's what he'll die of. Like, a week later, he'll just keel over on his horse, and they'll look at his arm like, oh, God. Oh, jeez. Probably should have cleaned this. But yeah, having Christian Slater have a knife fight on a burial ground.
An Indian burial ground, yeah.
Yeah. Because Christian Slater's just digging up a grave with such glee.
Just like heated frenzy. Like, he's like, no, these bones are... It's like a really ghoulish bit of dialogue where he's like, no, you can get... Like, they stumble upon an Apache burial site. And he's like... They're like, no, we're going to go around. Because you don't want to... Yeah, you don't want to walk through it because that's you're going to upset everybody.
Gross. There's bodies.
Yeah, and you'll piss them
I
off.
know. We respect. Yeah,
So,
I get it. I like when Viggo, they show up and they almost get blamed for it.
Yeah. But he's like, no, fuck that. You can get. He starts talking about like, no, they make combs and like ashtrays out of Indian bones. You can get 50 cents a bone, and it's like this really ghoulish conversation.
Oh yeah.
And then Lou Diamond Phillips is like, if you go in there, I will bury you in there myself. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then runs in and just starts pulling up the cairn stones to
like
get
a
at
real
these
asshole.
bones like a fucking dog.
Yeah.
Like a real asshole.
Christian Slater is a good. He should have been a villain more because he's a
good
good
at
dickhead.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lou Diamond Phillips starts he just goes after him. I kind of wanted Christian Slater's character to just get shot right there and then.
Yeah.
Because that's another, I guess, complaint about this movie is that I did not care for that character.
Well, I enjoyed.
He does nothing.
He doesn't do anything. I enjoyed having Christian Slater there, and I enjoyed his performance as a fucking racist dickhead gunslinger.
Right.
But he doesn't. You're right. He does not impact the story whatsoever.
He just whines about not being the leader.
Yeah. That's it. That's
and
all
is
he
racist.
does.
And then they give him a real poochy ending, I felt. Because
They do.
they really do.
It's time for me to go home to my planet.
Yeah, I stopped thinking about the character because he wasn't consequential.
No,
he was just like when he was not there, I was like, oh, good, he's not there. I'm sick of dealing with this character. And then the end where they show what happened to everybody, he was beheaded in Mexico.
Yep.
It's just like, oh.
His spaceship exploded on its way to his own planet.
And it was a real like, oh, that checks out. Yeah, he would have been beheaded in Mexico.
Yeah, I probably would have cut his head off too.
Yeah,
I could see a bunch of people getting sick of him and just being like, you know what, we should just cut his head off.
The racist loudmouth. Yeah, I can see his head rolling around somewhere in Mexico. It's covered in dust and ants.
Yep.
Yeah, like that shot in Hereditary.
I was about to say like the head in Hereditary.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. I didn't know. It was almost like there was too many characters, and they didn't spend enough time on any one of them.
Yes.
There's the brothel owner woman who I enjoyed her character.
Yeah.
Because she seemed like someone who was just completely used to Billy the Kid's bullshit. And then she just gets a few scenes, and then she gets her brothel burnt down. And that was mean. And then she leaves naked on a horse. And I get like that's a good fuck you.
Yeah.
But all I was thinking is like, I don't know if you want to ride a horse naked like that.
Yeah. Seems all sorts of uncomfortable.
Yeah, I feel like she rode that horse around the corner and then immediately got her clothes on. As soon as
she got outside of the town, she was like, okay, fuck this. I made my point.
Yeah.
Let me put some pants on.
Cold. There are mosquitoes.
Sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that looked very uncomfortable.
This sucks a butt.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. She had a good couple scenes, but yeah, it was just like kind of, I don't know. They never circle back to her.
No. She shows up at the end, but very, very briefly.
Right. Just to sort of say, like, yeah, I'm good. That's it. That's pretty much it. She just says, like, I started a new brothel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. But she's also, I guess, part of her character, because she doesn't say she's starting a brothel at the end. She says, like, a sawdust on the floor whorehouse, is I think how she puts it. And I think the idea is she's also trying to be like a community member when they come up on her.
Mm-hmm. She's
trying to be fancy, and the idea is that she's like, nah, fuck it. What's the point of hiding it? I guess that's her arc. Because the idea, she talked about like the priest coming there and stuff, mm-hmm. and they're in like a very like a prissy, like a gated community, the equivalent of a gated community.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah,
and so like it felt like it was a comment on the idea of like why tell the lie? Like why not? Like she ran like a gentleman's club or something that was clearly a brothel.
Mm-hmm.
But she had to hide it in this community, and they were acting like they're above it all. And it's like, no, motherfuckers, you all have been here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's a weird little arc they have there.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it amounts to anything.
I don't think so. I mean, she might have been a real person that they felt that they should include.
Right.
But she was just sort of like a neat character that's just only briefly there. And that's this movie's problem, like you were saying. Is there's too many people that are interesting and we don't spend enough time with them.
Yeah. You want to hear something interesting, Tom?
Yes, I do.
I was curious about the writer. Because
Okay.
I was trying to figure out how much should I look in, how much, are we thinking too hard about this?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's the writer of the first movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Also wrote The Babe.
Oh, the John Goodman one?
Yeah.
Fuck, I should watch The Babe.
Yeah. But fuck all that. It's also the writer of Hidalgo.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hidalgo.
Hidalgo.
Wrote the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon sequel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And The Highwaymen with Kev.
Oh, yeah. With Costner and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's been on my Netflix list for a while. I need to watch it.
Yeah, so that doesn't help me know if this is better or worse, I guess.
I've gained no new knowledge about it.
Oh, also wrote The Shack, the Christian drama. If you remember with the I think it's like gods in a shack.
No.
Am I getting that right, people?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's an adaptation of a novel, so it's not their fault. Hold on. I don't know if I need to go through the plot of The Shack. There's like a shack. It's about a shack.
God damn it! That's meaningless to me.
All right, hold on. There's a trio of strangers in, I think, a shack, and they gradually reveal themselves as God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. So I kind of want to see The Shack. This sounds like a fucking fever dream.
It does, yes.
Yeah. Someday we'll watch The Shack, Tom.
Maybe. But I swear to God, if I hear you say The Shack one more time, I'm going to break my computer.
It should have been a documentary about Shaquille O'Neal.
About Shaquille O'Neal.
That's what I should be describing now. Yeah, back to Young Guns 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this it feels like there's not even much to talk about because they didn't give us much.
Yeah, very little actually happens. It's a lot of traveling to a place.
It really is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of traveling. There's a lot of conversations and like some conflict. But it's just like the friendship thing is what really bugs me. Like, you know who should have been, and I know like historical accuracy and all that. So maybe he should have been a bigger character in the first movie, but the person who should have hunted down Billy the Kid in this is Kiefer.
Yeah, that would have made more sense.
It would have been more dramatic. Kiefer is forced to hunt down Billy. Like, that's what we want to see. Those are the characters we know from the first one.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that dynamic, do that. Because Kiefer does feel like he was just sort of
he's just kind of
aside.
Right, he's just sort of a prop in this movie.
Yeah. And maybe that was scheduling. Maybe they originally wanted that, but it sounds like historical accuracy that this is what actually happened, more or less. Mostly less. But
yeah, mostly less.
Yeah, it just it feels like they didn't have an interesting enough, like, again, like if they knew that they were going to do the sequel, maybe they would have introduced this character better in the first one who's hunting him and done it that way. But it just felt very unfulfilling.
It did, yeah. It was pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
It's especially after to my surprise, enjoyed the first one as much as I did.
Yeah. I
was like, oh, this movie kind of rips.
Yeah. I will say this movie was better than I expected.
Sure, yeah.
Because I expected a real fucking clown show. I thought they were going to, like, not try as hard, I guess. And I thought they were just going to make, like, an action romp. And the fact that they were like kind of trying to do something in this, it just didn't work. It felt like they just, maybe there's something we don't know about. Like it felt like they ran out of budget or something.
It does feel like unfinished, or like, yeah, like at the very least the script feels unfinished.
Yeah,
because it's like you have like the bones of a movie right here, but not the meat.
Not the meat. You have bones. And like Christian Slater can happily
Christian
dig those
Slater
up.
could just joyously dig them up out of the ground, but where does that leave us?
Nowhere.
I mean, Slater's happy, but what about the rest of us?
Yeah. All right. I mean, let's talk about this series as a whole, I guess. Like, we should wrap this up. Where man, this is only like the middle of the month. No, this will come back. This will come out near the end of the month. This is our May duology. We've wrapped it up. I guess my first question, I think I know the answer to, is like, does this need to be a duology? Does it work as a duology?
No, actually, I think this second movie actually takes away from the first one.
I agree. I think if you're into the Young Guns, I don't think you need to watch the sequel.
No.
I think that Young Guns 1 is a perfectly self-contained and surprisingly good movie. And I guess, much like Kiefer Sutherland, his character, it feels like they were forced into making this.
Mm-hmm.
And so this just, they do as good of a job as they can. I thought it was very creative what they did. But ultimately, there's just nothing to say in this one. And
it kind of retcons the way that the first movie kind of wrapped everything up, and, you know, kills off two well-liked characters from the first movie, and it's like, well, why watch this? This is just a bummer.
Right. Don't even be tempted by like fucking Christian Slater. Hearing Christian Slater's in Young Guns 2, it's like, oh shit, I gotta see this. He doesn't get much to do. He's kind of just a jerk.
And he's not even really in it that much.
Yeah. The other one that excited me was Bradley Whitford. And again, he's barely in it.
He's in the bookended. He's in the framing device. That's it.
I would say if you're a big Ruck head, if you're Ruck
really
hard,
into Alan Ruck, if you're a real Cameron Fry head,
then maybe check this out, because he was interesting to watch in this.
Yeah, I never knew I needed it.
Yeah, that's the moment.
And then suddenly there it was.
Okay, so this is the moment that made me think of my thesis of, the brutality, and that he's really, is when he tries to give him a nickname at the end. Because the whole bit is Alan Ruck wants a nickname, and then he gives him like Buckshot Billy or something.
Buckshot Bill, yeah. Or no, Buckshot George. Buckshot
George. He should have been Billy. I get it. There's already a Bill. Mm-hmm. Billy. And he says, that's your new name. And he says, no, it's not. And so it's the idea. He started it of like, I want to have a name like you guys. And at the end, he's like, never mind.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested.
I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
You guys are depressing. It's really the arc of the movie itself.
It kind of is,
like, we're Young Guns too, and at the end it's like, nah, I don't want to.
Never mind.
Yeah. But I like that idea. I like we're Western here, gunslingers, and then by the end it's just pathetic, and Billy the Kid realizes that as well. Yeah. And like, what is it all for? And they're now hitting, they're probably mid-20s or whenever, and it's like, that was cool. It just wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say skip Young Guns 2.
Yeah.
If you want to enjoy the Young Guns,
the Young Guns
universe. Yeah.
The Young Gunniverse.
Young Gunniverse. You really only need the first one.
Yeah. It's a universe unto itself.
Uh-huh. It really is.
And I don't know what else to say.
I think that's it. This has been a journey.
It has been.
I really feel like I don't know. This like all right, The Raid, it was like, okay, I've seen these.
Mm-hmm.
Man, my memory's terrible. What did we do after The Raid? We did oh Jesus, Tom.
What did we do after
It was
The
last
Raid?
month. It was last month. It was something and then the sequel to it. I know that. I know
it was something and then part 2.
And then part 2. Good God. I'm like trying to look it up, but I have
no
nothing.
idea what.
All right, hold on. We're gonna get through this, Tom. I'm going into our own SoundCloud
I have like
page.
no memory.
Look, man, it's tough. It's tough out there.
We do like 7 of these a week.
Escape from New York and Escape from
New York
LA.
and Escape from LA. That's right.
Whew. God,
Jesus
my
Christ.
brain just like released. It was all bound up. Anyway, my point is that I've seen those as well. This was the first duology of something that I hadn't seen yet. And if we're going, we sort of have an idea of what next month is.
Yeah.
If we go with what we said, I got to tell you, Tom, we'll be going with something that I also haven't seen.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
Cool.
I like new things.
Yeah, me too. I love when it's something that I haven't seen before.
Yeah. This was quite a month. This was an adventure.
It was.
Yeah.
I feel like a
this.
young gun myself.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I want to thank Nolan Madden, who made this all happen.
Yeah.
And I guess I want to thank the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank my mom and my dad for always believing in me.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever,
Jesus.
even if, Jesus.
Jesus.
I thank the Lord Jesus Christ, in who hangs out in his shack.
He does.
Yeah.
With Sam Worthington.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And
and Octavia Spencer.
Yeah. If you're interested, you can check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed.
Yeah.
We have exclusive podcasts there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. There's also a tier where you can make us watch a movie. There's also a tier where you can make your own podcast, which is what this is.
Yes.
It doesn't have... I don't know why I keep stressing this, because it's more fun if you produce it publicly, but we've done podcasts that are just personal podcasts for people.
Yeah,
just
they
for them
wanted
to
it just
hear.
for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. It's your podcast. You produce it. We host it within reason. We do research for it. And it's a cool tier. But that's all. That's all I had to say.
I think you said a lot. I think
A
lot came out that needed to be said.
Yeah. I feel cleansed.
Good. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we have a store, tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed, where you can get t-shirts and stickers, and you can even get masks.
Yep.
So check that out.
Check it out. We have one about pegging on Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's grave.
Mm-hmm, we sure do.
Yeah. So
wear that on over your mouth in public
with pride. Wear that.
It's beaming with pride.
Yeah, go to the pharmacy.
Luminescent with pride.
Yeah. Enjoy it. Enjoy life.
Really, 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 really revel in it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I think that's enough.
Okay.
I believe that's sufficient.
Okay. But bye. Bye,
right.
everyone.
Mm-hmm. Goodbye, young guns.
Duology Theater is brought to you by Gamefully Unemployed. Check out our cool shit at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed.